is a very difficult territory to be in when you have a newly diagnosed, especially teenager, because they're
Yeah.
not always going to have the buy-in, and their siblings aren't always going to have a buy-in. It's much easier when you're able to tell the sibling from the beginning, hey, this is what's
Right.
going on, kind of train them to learn
Yep.
that. But then when you have a new diagnosis, they're like, no, 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 they've always been annoying, always been annoying, and that kind of
Right.
thing. But the way that you start to explain that with the sibling, how old's the sibling?
11.
Yeah, she's 11. Okay.
Yes.
So the way that well, I kind of knew that, but everybody. But now the way that you explain that to an 11-year-old is you really sit her down in a calm moment. It's tough because you can't really deal with her in the moment, except for other than to tell her how to be appropriate and not. So with your son, it's going to be very important for her to see, before you guys have the talk, it's going to be very important for her to see that you're working towards trying to find a way to manage the behaviors, because the behaviors can be overwhelming. So, when they get stuck on the subject or their area of hyper focus and just can't stop talking about it, that can be really, really frustrating, not only to the siblings, but also the parents as well. And
Yep.
so for him, you want to start to set up boundaries for that without feeling bad about it, because you're doing it so that he learns what the boundaries are for other people. Because if he doesn't, then he's going to chase away all of his opportunities to be able to form friendships due to that like inability, or that extreme struggle with recognizing kind of what's going on with other people, how he's impacting other people. And so one thing is, on one side, you start to teach him, hey babe, one of the struggle areas is that you're not really able to recognize when you're impacting other people, right? So then you start to teach him, okay, so one piece of this is that I'm going to have to set a limit, or we're going to have to set a limit. I actually need you to set a limit for yourself on how many times you can bring up this or whatever the subject is, dinosaurs. I'm making it up, right? How many times you can talk about dinosaurs. Now, if you mention something about dinosaurs, then we're going to say it's going to be 3 or 4. So then the sibling starts to know. It's going to be 3, 4, whatever you say, times. After that's mentioned that many times, then we have to move off of that subject, period. Okay. For at least this amount of time, right? So then when you're at the dinner table, he's not, allowed to kind of be in violation of everybody's like thinking and hearing space. Okay. But now for your daughter, she needs to
Yeah.
hear stuff like this. And for your daughter, you need to really be able to take her to the side and keep repeating the same messages, which is she's going to hear some of the messages that you're giving to him. But you want to also share with her, look, I know this is new, but I'm sure she's very smart. So I know this is new, but I need you to start to work on understanding that your brother has challenges, right? I know they're annoying, but they're not just annoying just to be annoying. They're actual challenges, okay? And then really break down for her what his specific challenges are as far as dealing with autism spectrum disorder is concerned. So what you want to just keep slowly but surely without, and try not to get too angry with her, because I know that can be frustrating too when she's getting mad at him. But trying to get frustrated with her, kind of go into that space where you just, first of all, you'll get a chance to get to know me well. I always say that, find your calm, because if you're internally frustrated, upset, and people are very in tune to, especially children and sensitive children are very in tune to that, then they may become disrupted with your attempts to correct. So you want to actually, what I'm going to do today, guys, if you guys don't mind, I'm going to go over the 4 steps. I think it can be helpful in the family interactions. Is everybody okay with that?
Yeah, that's fine. That's
Okay.
fine with
That'd be
me.
helpful.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So first, especially when we're dealing with like, autism spectrum disorder, the higher end and that kind of thing, some of the key things that I teach is, number one, you have to work on step one, finding your calm. And I know that's a lot, that's saying a lot when you're dealing with someone who can be very upsetting and triggering with their behaviors and their obsessions. But there's a variety of ways to go about establishing that we'll go over, that we'll just continue to kind of plug away until it becomes kind of a natural way of being, right? But find your calm, understand the real truth. So now that you guys have the proper diagnosis on board, you probably always have known there's something, well, I know that there's something more going on than what they were giving you before. So now that you guys have a handle on it, now it's get a real understanding, like truly seek to understand everything you can about autism spectrum disorder and in its higher functioning realm, because some of it is not fitting when you're looking at some of the lower functioning behaviors. And so it's find your calm, understand the real truth with your son as well, that some of his behaviors are literally they're stimming behaviors. The kids on the spectrum, they do lots of stimming, they do lots of verbal stimming. So they'll get kind of stuck in the same spot. So you have to start to teach him certain concepts like that, like, babe, you're stuck, baby, like you're stuck on the same subject. So I need you to be able to move beyond that. After, we can't let you stay stuck, because then it's just kind of like those tires stuck in the mud, like you're just spinning and you're not really going anywhere with it. And you're basically chasing everybody else away because you're slinging mud everywhere, right? So, but you want to start relating to him in that way so that he can understand why you're asking him to move off the subject. You can teach him things like, hey, baby, this is going to cause it to be very difficult for people to be able to stay around you. Like, and I need you to be okay. I need you to be able to be around it because you're so fantastic that I don't want that sadness in you that people don't want to be around you. So I have to teach you this, right? And so I know I've given a lot, but so find your calm, understand the real truth, react according to your truest intentions, be so very diligent about that. When I say truest intentions, I mean you don't wake up in the morning thinking, yes, I'm going to be upset and frustrated or offended or all these things with my little girl for not understanding, or my big guy for not shutting up. Right? And so you want to react according to your truest intentions, because then you can say, okay, look, I love you so much, I really want you to be liked, so I need for you, I'm going to have you practice this, right? And for your daughter, same thing. I love you so much, but look, now we know something new, so I'm going to need you to use all those smarts that we know you have and to understand it better, so that you're not having these extreme reactions. And if you are having a hard time, let me know so I can help you out, right? And then, sorry, last three, and I'm going to shut up for a second. The last step is the fourth step, to recognize, reinforce, and repeat. But we will get more into those once we get you established more in the first three, because they all kind of play into one another.